On March 13th of 2025, Demna was named the creative director of Gucci. And we gotta talk about this, okay? So I brought my MacBook out, I made some notes. We're gonna talk about this in depth. I'm gonna speak about the news. I'm gonna speculate as to why he was named creative director of Gucci. I'm gonna speculate about what new Gucci will probably look like. And then I'm also gonna speak about the future of Balenciaga. But before I get into that, you're probably wondering, okay, who are you? Well, I'm Staccato Luvizzier. Welcome to my channel. Here we talk about luxury fashion, we talk about streetwear, we talk about sneakers, because sometimes, you're just scrolling on the internet, you see something you like, and it creates a need. So the question that is probably on a lot of people's minds right now, if they've seen the news lately, they may be thinking, why Demna? And I'm going to explain, in my opinion, what I think the reasoning behind that decision would be. One thing I can say is name recognition. I think after Sabato's tenure at Gucci, they kind of want to go with a big household name. And what other big household name to think of besides Demna? I think even people that are not into fashion know who Demna is. So when you think of Demna, what do you think of? You think of Balenciaga. When you think of Balenciaga, what do you think of? You think of Demna. He has really merged himself with the name of the brand. And there's only a few designers in history that I can kind of think of that when you think of their name, you think of the particular brand that they were creative director at, and how both of them seem to be synonymous with each other. For example, let's think of Karl Lagerfeld. Who do you think of? You think of Chanel. When you think of Christopher Bailey, who do you think of? You think of Burberry, because his whole tenure at Burberry. You don't really think about Riccardo Tisci or Daniel Lee. And I guess a more modern example would be when you think of J.W. Anderson, who do you think of? You think of Loewe, and vice versa. And whether you actually, like Demna's aesthetic, Demna has a unique aesthetic that is extremely identifiable. He turned Balenciaga into an extension of himself, for better or for worse, rather than expanding upon established house codes. Now, he does follow some of the house codes of Balenciaga. I mean, he's done the hourglass coat before, but for the most part, he's doing his own thing. Another reason I believe he was appointed the creative director spot for Gucci is that Demna has staying power. Demna has been the creative director of Balenciaga since 2015, so it's been 10 years of him being at Balenciaga. And within those 10 years, he has actually established himself very well within Balenciaga. And what I mean by staying power, I mean that Demna has not only just been there for a long time, he's also weathered the storm of that controversy that happened in 2022 with that ad campaign. The one with the pedophilia, fill in the blank there. I actually have a video talking about that on my channel. If it's over here or over here, I'm not that really good at YouTube. I don't know. It's up there. The link is up there if you want to check it out. And when that controversy happened, a lot of people withdrew their support from Demna, and to the point where people were always speculating, oh, Demna's going to be cut from Balenciaga. Oh, Demna's going to quit, or Demna's only going to be there for a few years. Hell, I thought he was only going to be there for like a few years after that. I thought they were going to quietly transition him out. You had a lot of influencers, whether it's on YouTube or otherwise, like, for example, Kim Kardashian said, oh, I'm questioning my support of Demna and Balenciaga. I don't know if I want to continue this relationship. And then there were also certain fashion influencers on YouTube that were also saying, I don't know about Balenciaga. Maybe I should stop buying from them. Now, what's interesting about that is that both Kim Kardashian and all you influencers on YouTube, I've seen you. You all said that you were going to withdraw your support and not buy any more Balenciaga, but all of a sudden you got more and more Balenciaga hauls than you ever had in your entire life of your channel. But that's a whole other thing. But even with that being said, it's hard to recover from such a PR nightmare like that. And Demna kind of left unscathed. Demna actually recovered from the whole controversy in a little less than a year. In fact, the pre-fall 2024 show was extremely star-studded. I mean, people were on the runway, there were influencers, there were celebrities everywhere. Anybody you can think of was there, especially a lot of people that live in California and Beverly Hills and all that kind of stuff, Los Angeles area. You get what I'm saying? It was almost as if people just forgot what happened, like their memories were wiped of this controversy and nobody cared about it anymore. It just goes to show you that cancel culture is really not a real thing. Now, my last point of why I think that Demna was appointed creative director of Gucci, and this is the most important one of all. This is the most important reason of them all, and it's because Demna makes Kering money. What does Kering care about more than anything else? They care about money. Whether it's LVMH or Kering or any of these other conglomerates, they care about money. They don't want to just make $1 billion this year. They want to make $2 billion the next year, $4 billion the following year. They want endless growth, and they think that Demna can give them that. And this is why. According to the financial reports, in 2023, there's showed to be improved sales significantly for Balenciaga in the North American, Western Europe market. And the house also delivered a solid performance in Asia and the Pacific area. That is actually something you can find on the Kering website as far as their financial reports. I might put that in the description just so you can reference it. Now, what's interesting about the 2023 report is that that was the year after the controversy hit, and they're still selling more and more. Like, it meant nothing. Any press was good press in this situation. Now, if we look at the next year, in 2024, they showed surprising growth in the North American market again, the Middle East, and Japan. There was also a great performance of leather goods, specifically the rodeo bag, or the rodeo bag. I'm not sure which the pronunciation is. They also reissued the city bag, and people love the city bag. They really do. It's a cult classic. It really is. So with all that being said, Demna has proven that he can sell. He really can. And so if he is proving that he can really sell, why not put him in the driver's seat of Gucci? And the reason being is because Kering is dependent on Gucci. They are hyper dependent on Gucci more than any other conglomerate as far as like percentage wise. In fact, they're so dependent on Gucci that if Gucci is doing well, Kering is doing well. Every other brand could be, slumping slightly in sales, but if Gucci is doing well, the whole conglomerate is doing well. That's how big Gucci is for the Kering conglomerate. And it looks like Gucci has been recently needing a lot of help. Under Sabato de Sarno, Gucci's revenue actually went down 6% in 2023, and then following that in 2024, it went down an additional 23%. Now, even though I named under Sabato, I really don't think that Sabato was the cause of all this. I really think that when you go from a huge maximalist aesthetic and then start paring things back and making things, dare I say, quiet luxury, people are going to withdraw their support. I mean, if I'm buying into this maximalist ideal and then you start doing something totally different, a full 180, I'm probably not going to like that, or the customers involved are probably not going to like that. So to be honest, I really think taking away Sabato that prematurely was a bad idea, but they want to make money, so this decision is made. Now, when it comes to Balenciaga under the Kering group, Balenciaga's sales are rather insignificant compared to the other brands that are there. Not just compared to Gucci, but also even Bottega and Saint Laurent. Balenciaga is included in other houses within the financial report. Again, I'm going to put the financial reports in the description so you can see them. So now that we know why Demna was probably picked for this position, we got to ask the question, what is new Gucci going to look like? Now, if we go based on knowing Demna's design past with Balenciaga, it's probably going to be a drastic change from what we know Gucci as. I think the change of guard from Alessandro Michele to Sabato de Sarno and how drastically different that is going to have nothing on what Demna does to Gucci. And like I said earlier, Demna kind of did his own thing with Balenciaga. I mean, he kind of used some of the house codes here and there, but he really has done his own thing. And I really think that's what he's going to do with new Gucci. I really think he's going to continue the whole grunge subculture aesthetic, but uplift it and make it a little more luxe. I also think he's going to rely on some gimmicks. That has been something that has been a big critique of Demna. Like, oh my God, what are all these gimmicks? Why are you doing all these things? Just make good clothing. But ironically, the gimmicks have actually worked very well for Balenciaga in the past. Demna's team is really good at outrage marketing. Let's think about the destroyed Balenciaga shoe that was posted everywhere. Everybody was like, oh my God, they're charging over $1,000 for this destroyed shoe. What has Demna done to Balenciaga? Oh my God, what is he doing? And what did people do? They went to the store and they bought more. And it also got a lot of people talking about the stuff too. I'll be one of the first people to say that when it came to some of their sneaker aesthetic, like how big their sneakers were, how chunky they were, the overall design, I wasn't with it at first. And then I became with it. You can actually see my video on those Balenciaga shoes, whether they're here, again, I'm not good at YouTube, y'all. I also believe that he's going to make Gucci's clothing kind of look like merch. Now, for the hardcore fashion folks, that's probably going to be the worst thing ever to them. That's like, oh my God, you're destroying Gucci. You're doing to Gucci what you did to Balenciaga. I don't like this. Oh my God, make it stop, make it stop. But in actuality, Demna's merch has been selling. So I don't think he would have any other reason to switch from this particular tactic. Again, citing the pre-fall 2024 show, it was a lot of stuff that looked like merch. In fact, it was that collaboration with that grocery store, I think it was Arrow Row or something like that. I probably am pronouncing it wrong. All that stuff looked like merch. They even had like a thermos, like a water container. Like, come on. But even with that particular criticism, I do think he's probably going to come up with some interesting leather goods and accessories because Demna makes accessories that sell. He makes unique things. When I think about some of the unique accessories or the leather goods, I think about the card holder that looked like a passport that had tickets hanging out of it. It was really cool. I had to admit, that was a really cool thing. And of course, everybody was wearing the steroid boots, also that rubber trooper boot that I thought was just absolutely ridiculous. People love that boot. I don't know what it is, but people love it. Another thing that I believe is going to happen with new Gucci is that we are going to get collaboration fatigue. Because one thing about Balenciaga as of recent, Balenciaga has collaborated with a lot of folks. Just recently, they collaborated with Puma. Before then, it was Under Armour. Of course, like I said, with the grocery store, it was Arrow Row, Balenciaga, Adidas. And how can we forget Crocs? I just, to this day, I do not understand that collaboration. I don't get it. I got a coworker that got one of those, the Croc boots. It's not for me to get. But at the end of the day, Demna sells. Now that Demna is going to Gucci, you may ask also, who's going to take the reins of Balenciaga? First of all, I think the design team is going to take over for probably a season, maybe 2 collections, and then they're probably going to finalize who they're going to put in that seat. Now, here's some names that I'm thinking about if I was a part of the Kering group and I would put out suggestions and things like that. Now, even though I don't think this person will take the job, I think they'd probably be a good idea. Hedi Slimane, why not? Why not? I don't think they're going to give him the control that he wants, but I really think that he could bring Balenciaga out of other fashion houses and into one of the big sellers at Kering. Then I always think about, okay, you know, Balenciaga is really grungy, really serious right now. Let's bring some fun back into it. Let's bring Jeremy Scott into the seat. Let's see what he does with it. I really think that Jeremy Scott could bring the whimsy and kind of brighten our day. But then you could also say that Jeremy Scott could do a 180 with Balenciaga and that could cause a sales slump and we don't want that. I don't know, but I would like to see it.
I would like to see it.
Really, the person that I really want to be in the driver's seat for Balenciaga is somebody that arguably inspired Demna. And that is my girl, Martine Rose. Give Martine something. People were really mad about her not getting Louis Vuitton. I didn't think that that was going to happen. Now, if we think about LVMH or any of these big conglomerates, we think, okay, they're going to put a big name in there. And that's what Pharrell Williams was. He's a big name and he's apparently selling very well. Martine Rose, even though, fashion heads, we know and we love her. We think she's spectacular. We love her collaborations. Martine Rose is a smaller name, but I really think that if she got started in Balenciaga, because Balenciaga is a smaller brand within the whole Kering group, I really want to see what she does with it. I think she could bring Balenciaga back to its classic status, but also still incorporate some of the things that Demna laid out. Really, I just like Martine Rose, and I just want her to have some kind of good job. I really do. Because if she gets a good job that funds her well, she can actually funnel that money into her own line and things can get better. I want my girl Martine Rose to win. I just want her to win. That's all. But anyway, y'all, I hope you enjoyed that deep dive as to why I believe that Demna was appointed creative director of Gucci. If you liked the video, go ahead and like the video for the algorithm so people can see this. Also, give me a comment down below. Who do you think should be the new creative director of Balenciaga? And also, what do you think of Demna being the new creative director of Gucci? Tell me. All opinions are welcome. I really want to know. And also, don't forget to subscribe. I do this all the time. At least I try to. Am I consistent? I try my best. I really do. But again, y'all, I am Staccato Louvettier, and I'll see you in the next one.